First up is ads. So not everybody uses ads, but the way in which Google evaluates your website in terms of ads has changed over time. That on the left-hand side, you see, I mean, it's hard to even determine where does the actual real content start and the ads stop. Like it's kind of like a mess there visually. And you might not even be able to tell, but it has basically two ads to start at the top, and then it starts to have some of the navigation content in there, but it's like really hard to tell. And it's just a really bad user experience. Whereas on the right side for the Washington Post, it's mostly content, and there's like this little tiny ad at the bottom, right? So what's changed is the user experience part of ads. I feel like, I've always felt this way for a while, even before Google made all these changes, that there was a time where search engines turned a blind eye to ads because they were making money too out of it if you were using like AdSense or whatever. So even though it was kind of like bad for go on this website where like things are popping out at you or whatever, it's like, oh, well, we won't mark you down specifically for that. They still would get a negative signal from indirectly, because if a user clicked out of it, that's like an indirect signal, but they wouldn't directly mark down your website. But now they directly do. So like now, if you go overboard and you don't have like a good user experience with your ads, like Google will see that and they'll like directly, well, okay. I should caveat what I'm saying and everything I'm going to say for the rest of this. Google doesn't tell you exactly what's happening. The things that I'm saying right now are my interpretation, my personal, not Google's interpretation, because they don't tell you how things work. They purposely keep it as like a black box. So this is me as a person who's working in this field like every day, interpreting or reverse engineering how it seems like things are working on their side. And how it seems like is that they will penalize you if you're being kind of a jerk with your ads. But if you make them, you're like, okay, it's very clear that your ads are off to the right or down below or whatever, and users can kind of ignore them if they want to or click them if they want to, then it's perfectly fine. But the one other thing with ads too that has a direct impact is performance. So a lot of implementations of ads adversely affects your LCP, which is your largest contentful paint, and that has a dramatic impact on your search ranking. Web performance in general, but that specifically. And so one thing I would recommend to anybody who does have ads on their site is, especially Google ads, is to use the AMP ad component. This is something where they have all sorts of like crazy magic within this component to make it render very, very fast. So we've completely switched over to AMP ads. Like we used to do other ads, and as much as I tried myself to kind of like optimize them, it was only when we implemented this that we were getting LCP scores that were like below the threshold where the ideal threshold where you want.